Howdy, partner. Welcome to one of the most northern parts of the United States of America. Travel with me upriver as we talk to a bunch of ladies and fellers and they share their tales of wit and wisdom. That's right, it's time again for Skagit Storytellers with Liz Rankin.
Who was one of the first musicians that you met here?
Miguel.
Okay, and
sure.
how did you meet Miguel?
I worked at the brewery in Darrington, and then he would come in, and he was one of my Friday regulars. You know, I worked Friday, Saturday for about 3 or 4 years, and then he'd come in most Fridays, and then, I don't know, he's a big personality. Yeah.
Yeah, I met him at the Hub,
and
then I kept harassing him to come on my podcast, and he kept saying no. So you're from Darrington?
Originally, yeah.
Do you know any Rankins in Darrington?
Yes, I do.
Okay, there's this Rankin clan that apparently I'm supposed to be related to. Whenever I meet anyone upriver, I tell them my name. They go, "Oh, are you?" And I have to stop and I go, "No, I'm not related to the Darrington Rankins."
Yeah. When Miguel mentioned you, there's actually a Liz Rankin that lives in Darrington.
Really?
And I thought you were her. I think the two valleys, the Skagit and the Stilly, they're like two weird parallel universes, and there's not a lot of overlap. But I feel like I don't know, it's kind of strange. And then coming over here, it's like, wow, there's like a whole different music community, and there's kind of very little overlap, but it's
funny.
Nice.
Are there a lot of musicians in Darrington?
Yeah, quite a few.
I had no idea. Do they come up here?
No.
Really?
They all stay and they go to Arlington.
Everybody. So Darrington goes south,
yeah,
and then everyone here maybe goes north.
Mount Vernon, Bellingham, yeah.
Yeah. Or they go to Anacortes. Yeah. Have you played out there at all?
Yeah, I've played the band Lantern a couple times.
Played Rockfish?
I think that's it. Haven't played Rockfish.
Okay. That's where Zach played on Wednesday. And he said he hadn't played there in 10 years, though.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
They have a lot of good musicians that play.
Well, and they have live music, I think, Wednesdays and Saturdays.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 2 days. And I think Dad's Diner is going to start to have music, too.
Huh.
That's the best breakfast place. I talk about it all the time.
Where's
it's so good. It's right on the main drag.
What?
Yeah. They had Korean street toast, and I lived in Korea a couple times, and it's so good. It's basically like this breakfast sandwich, but there's like just this kind of like a sweet relish in it, and it's street food in Korea is so good. I miss it. But Dad's Diner, you have to go. It's amazing. But Amped there, the Anacortes Music Project.
Yeah.
Have you seen that space?
I haven't seen the space, but Summer is an amazing she's a life
force.
force.
When did you meet Summer?
I think it was at the Enthusiast show at the Concrete Theater.
Oh, because they played this. Was that the same show as you guys?
Yeah.
Jack, and them.
I think we started, and then Jack was next, and then they.
Yes. Yeah. That was such a fun night.
They blow me away. I love their music.
When did you start playing music?
Oh.
Preschool?
Pretty young.
You're like, everything happened in preschool.
Well, my parents tried a few instruments on me, and a lot of them didn't stick. And then I started...
Like, what did they try?
Violin was first. And, I was probably 4 or 5 when they got me a violin.
Wow. Are they musicians?
My dad is.
Okay.
Yeah. And my mom does now. We were in a family bluegrass band, my whole childhood. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And so my
mom
was
your name? What was the name of your band?
Blueberry Hill. Before that, we were Motel 5.5.
Where did that name come from?
We weren't quite a Motel 6.
Oh my gosh. So your first band was with your parents?
Yeah. Yep.
Now, what happened with the change in the band? Did you have to kick out one of your family members? Or?
No. So we started out as like just me, my dad, and my brother. And then we'd sometimes
your brother. Okay.
My brother plays too, yeah.
So then what did you guys all play? Like you played?
I played mandolin mostly, but I started on flute. In band, and then hated it. I didn't want to play flute. I wanted to play saxophone really bad. But then my parents were like, well, you have to start with either a flute or with a clarinet in order to play saxophone. And it wasn't their rule, it was the school band's rule.
Oh.
It's like the entry level, I don't know, wind instruments, I guess.
Okay.
So you have to start with flute or clarinet. So I started on flute because we had one. So they're like, yeah, so you're going to graduate up and you're going to get to saxophone, possibly. But then I practiced stuff on flute, got it for 2 years. Didn't really like the band atmosphere that much, and playing sheet music.
Like concert band type thing? Okay, yeah.
And I really wanted to play jazz flute once I got into flute. My teacher was like, it's not a jazz instrument. You cannot join jazz band. I was like, come on, there's Matt Equals of jazz flutist. There's a lot of jazz flute out there.
Well, an Anchorman. You saw Anchorman, right?
No, it's a thing. But
that's what I think
they're
of.
like, no, flute's not a jazz instrument. So I was like, And I wasn't really performing well in school, I guess. I was like a chair 6 or 5, out of like 6 or 5. My parents are like, well, you can't quit band until you try a little harder, and you have to be the first chair in order to quit. So I had 2 weeks. I had 2 weeks in, and I made first chair.
What?
Challenged everybody. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
You did that so you could quit.
Yep. And then I played flute. I learned how to play by ear because in order to play by ear, I really kind of had to unlearn a lot of like the reliance on sheet music. So I learned how to play by ear and then played with a folk band, like my family band. Like played flute.
So you're saying sheet music doesn't help you? Like, is it like a negative to learn?
It's not negative. So playing by ear and playing sheet music work different sides of your brain. So then, yeah, so it's like right brain versus left brain. If you're reading sheet music, it's a lot more mathematical versus if you're playing by ear, it's a lot more like the creative centers of your brain.
Okay, so this is important because I played trumpet all through school and I learned sheet music, and I was shocked that most of the musicians I know here don't know how to read sheet music.
Yeah.
And I took that as like, well, that's a negative. Like you should, and then so now my daughter, she's learning how to play violin.
Yeah.
And I'm like, obviously stressing like you need to learn how to read this, but then her friend came over and he can just hear a song and play it.
Yeah.
So it's like you kind of should have both worlds, is what you're saying. Yeah.
And it actually really, to learn both and to not have like a strong reliance on either, although, I mean, I wouldn't say like I pretty much exclusively play by ear now, but I don't read music. If I really want to learn a guitar solo, I'll look up the tab for it. But it does kind of lessen like the creativity of music, I think.
Well, and I thought that you had an ear for music. Like, can you like sort of learn it?
Definitely, yeah.
Really?
And a lot of people, like, I call it like finding your instrument. Like a lot of people don't think they're musical, but then it's like, it's kind of like singing. It's, once you learn your voice, like it's unique to you. And so there's, it's a whole path, but then once you learn it, you'll be a fine singer.
So people who think they're not a good singer, they're just singing the wrong style for them.
Yeah, or they haven't gotten comfortable enough with their voice, and there's a lot of vulnerability with it. Like you really have to like embrace your unique sound, and that's difficult for a lot of people. So sometimes I think with singing especially, people will try to sing like other people. They'll try to mimic like other singers that they've heard or ones that they admire, and there's a lot of strength in that. You can develop your voice that way. It's like painting like Picasso in order to become a good painter. But once you get past the technique, I do think it's like very valuable to learn your own voice. I
think Hunter S. Thompson said he once typed out an entire like Ernest Hemingway novel just to see what it felt like to like write the great American novel. Yeah.
Hemingway's amazing too.
Yeah.
Like, he has a it's kind of an anecdote, so I'm not 100% sure that it's true, but he was challenged, I guess, by a critic during his career to write the shortest novel, a 6-word novel.
A 6-word novel?
Yeah, and he fired back with "for sale, baby shoes never used."
Oh my gosh.
The short stories are really the ones that like hit you the hardest, because
yeah.
It's like that's power and a little bite,
It makes me think about, I'm reading this book called, and I think I mentioned it in Miguel's episode, How to Write One Song by Jeff Tweedy. Wow. And he talks about how what he does sometimes is he'll give himself, like, he'll set a timer for 10 minutes. And he'll challenge himself to write a song in 10 minutes. Because so often you're so hard on yourself and you want it to be perfect first, right? And he's like, no, like I think one time he was waiting for maybe a van to show up, and he's very punctual, and he's like, most musicians aren't. So he just had time, and I forget, it was like one of their hits. He just banged out in 5 minutes. And he noticed that like he got a lot done in that time. And so he kind of like once in a while he'll force himself. Yeah. You have 20 minutes, sit down and write a song. Instead of saying, okay, give yourself 5 hours, you're going to dick around for 4 hours.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
And then
some people function really well under pressure, and then, you get a lot more productivity during a slower, or a smaller piece of time.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you kind of have to give yourself that deadline if you don't have one. Right. Yeah. So I guess what's your writing process?
It used to be really random. Like I'd play guitar, I'd play a bunch of other songs, and then I come up with a lot of melodies, but then lyrics are difficult for me. But one of the songwriting like female bands that I listen to a lot, Della Mae, I went to a songwriting workshop by their lead singer, and she writes most of their music. And she said, you have to have like a growth space when you make music. Like, she lights candles and, burns some incense, and you put your plant out and you make like a really comforting space. And I've kind of started to emulate that more lately. It makes it a lot more fun, but it also makes it like...
shed?
I do. I have a she shed. As of this year, I finally painted it. It took me a long time to pick the color for the interior.
Yeah. What's the color?
Like a dark teal.
Okay. I was actually picturing teal. That's
yeah?
funny. Yeah. I was. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. I like that.
It's kind of hard though. I have a lot of art mediums that I like, and like music's just one of them. But I got a pottery wheel in it now. Like I've got all my paint set up. Like I got
Wow.
Yeah. I was almost an art major, and then I swung back to sciences. So
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, so after I was kind of got off tangent. So after your 2 family bands that you had, Motel 5.5,
mm-hmm.
and the first one, so what caused the end of Motel 5.5?
My mom started playing bass.
You became a teenager. No, I was kidding. Yeah, and you're like, get me out of this.
It wasn't like an actual ending. It was more that we started to play more seriously. And then my mom became our official bass player, and we started playing more shows. I
just love that line. My mom was our bass player. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, mom keeps the beat. But yeah, awesome. I don't know. It was just, we were starting to grow a lot more as a band, and we're like, we really just, we thought of the Motel 5.5, where we're just like making jokes back and forth, and we're like, we really need to have like a serious name. And so then came up with Blueberry Hill. So
nice. And was that from that Louis Armstrong?
No. So there's actually like a mountain outside of Darrington. It's called Exfoliation Dome, but then the local name for it is Blueberry Hill.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a much better name.
Yeah.
Exfoliation
It's
Hill.
it kind of looks like Half Dome. Like it's an exposed slab of rock, and then climbers use it. And my parents are both mountaineers, so then it was one of their dates. So then they were like, well, this is kind of how it started, kids.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And then when did you decide that you wanted to do some solo stuff?
Well, I've always liked, like when I first started playing guitar, I really liked, like I learned non-bluegrass songs a lot, and I follow all genres of music. So then I'd play like a lot of different genres and a lot of experimental music in like my room by myself, and it was like kind of I guess it was like my angsty teenage rebellion a little bit.
What are some like covers you would play that I would know?
The Shin Song for one.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I learned a lot of like Band of Skulls songs, like bluesy. It was anything non-bluegrass. Really was a little bit of a rebellion.
I had never heard of Band of Skulls until
really. They're like one of my favorite bands.
I kid you not. Like 2 weeks ago.
What?
Yeah, Spencer sent me a song, and I was like, "Oh, what's this new band?" He's like, "This is the band I've seen more than any other band."
He's seen them?
Oh, I will send you a YouTube video of him jumping on stage.
What?
They're at the Neptune.
Oh, wow.
This was like 10 years ago, and he jumped on stage and he got kicked out.
Lucky.
Because he goes,
don't get kicked out.
He shows me the song. He sends me the video, and then he goes, just started at 5 minutes. It was like a 5.5 minute song.
Oh yeah.
So I did, and I was like, it's just like the ending guitar part. Like, I don't get it. Like, I think he sent the wrong video.
Oh.
And so he goes, watch it again. And I was like, what? So watch it again. And it was him jumping up on stage at the 5 minute mark.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I've never seen them, and they're one of the few bands like that I really, really enjoy that I haven't seen live.
I've never even heard of them.
No, they're from the UK. Yeah. It's like Peach Pit, check them out.
Yeah. So you'd play, what was like a Band of Skulls song that you would play?
Honest by them. It's a really good one.
That one's
it's
good.
Very, I don't know, it's like plucked guitar, I'd say, but then very like haunting, beautiful vocals.
Oh, I love that. I'm all about lyrics.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And their lyrics are phenomenal. I don't think they have a song that I don't like.
Yeah.
So,
oh, awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
And then so you'd play those secretly in your room.
Yeah.
And then at what point were you like, okay, I'm ready to play them on my own.
I mean,
in
high
front of
school
people.
talent shows, I would branch out a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was fun, and occasionally, like, my parents were really, like, supportive of it. So, like, sometimes they'd let me, get up at, bluegrass is a pretty stringent genre where it's very, if you're not playing traditional bluegrass, then, you darn kids, you
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it is a little bit like that. So then, I'd occasionally get to play like a folk or a slightly bluesier song, when we'd perform.
Oh, so you would you'd play as a band, but then like maybe they'd take a break and then you would just play a song?
Sometimes, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or they'd play along too. They'd learn some of them with me.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome. Did your brother play too, like on his own?
He, not as much as he used to. Like, he started out with banjo, and he's one of the best banjo players that I know, probably
Really?
in the Northwest. He's incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, and then guitar too. Like, but one of the things about bluegrass is they make fun of banjo players. So it's like drummer jokes, but with banjos. So then,
so the banjos are like the drummers of bluegrass. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And so everybody's always making banjo jokes. Like, he couldn't, and he can play great, but people would give him like so much crap for it
That's so funny. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So then he learned guitar in about 2 weeks and can flat pick better than I can, or
Wow.
anybody.
You guys are really talented.
He is. Yeah, no, he can pick up any instrument and play it. But
Wow.
he doesn't play enough or as much now as he used to. But,
What does he do for work?
he's a commercial fisherman.
Oh, okay. So he's
Yeah.
up in Alaska?
Alaska, he goes down to Oregon to crab. He did squid seining out of California for a little while.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like those are like dangerous jobs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like 6 foot. He's a pretty big dude.
What does he like about it? Just it's probably pretty
everything.
good money.
Yeah, I don't
It's
even think it's
thrilling.
the money though. I think it's like the thrill of it. He's really good at it. He's been doing it for a while, so he's like really valued. He can pick a boat basically and get on it.
Wow.
He's just like super passionate about it. He wants to own his own boat eventually. Like,
Have you ever been up there?
I haven't. No. I really want to.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. Before me and Caleb were together, he was working out of Naknek as like a boat mechanic, like a diesel mechanic. And then my brother, when he first started fishing, fished out of Naknek. So then they share stories all the time about Naknek. Oh, remember that dock? And over at, Silver Bay Seafood. But I'd love to go to, kind of get the perspective. Worked with kids too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What did you do with kids?
I basically a teacher's aide, but then I worked at summer camps. I did it for like 10 years in a bunch of different, I really wanted to be a teacher. And then, ended up going into SPED towards like my last couple of years. And, it wasn't really a good fit for me, but
SPED's hard.
It's really difficult.
It
takes
always
a certain type of person too to be, like really passionate about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd always been interested in the sciences and went back into that. So
Yeah. Yeah. Teaching's hard. Like I said, like I always wondered, how do you do this till you're 60?
Yeah.
And you have to find the right grade, the right school, everything has to match up.
And a work-life balance too is very important.
You have to walk out at 4.
Yeah.
Like otherwise you could just be there all day. And yeah, it's funny because I walked out at 4:15 yesterday and one of the girls said, "Oh, I almost yelled at you. Where's that work-life balance?" Because I was 15 minutes past 4. But I go, actually, I went back in because I had to print off violin music for Olive that her teacher sent me. So I wasn't even supposed to do that, but I did. So there's my work-life balance.
Yep.
Yeah. So what was so how long? I know I don't think I asked you, like, how many years have you been doing the music on your own as like Aida Miller?
Since I started, pretty much. I mean, well, I don't know. I like to play in a band more than I like to play by myself. But then, sometimes it works out. Sometimes, it doesn't. And just the sense of like trying to find people. Sometimes they're busy.
Because I feel like that Concrete show was the first time I ever heard of you.
Yeah.
So like, where had you played before that?
Solo, like a lot of places in Seattle.
Are you playing Seattle?
I have in the past, yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, because you're Darrington, so you go south.
Yeah. I had a friend that was like very much involved and she's like a close family friend. She's from Tulalip, but then they used to live in Seattle. And then she was very involved in the Seattle music community. So then I get shows through her sometimes. And, I did quite a few of them when I, especially when I first like moved out of my parents' house, I guess. Like I wasn't, playing with the band as much. Like sometimes we'd still do a few shows. They also moved to Eastern Washington, so it kind of made it hard. But yeah, she'd, sometimes just call me up and be like, hey, you want to play a show? And it always kind of felt like a little intimidating because I was so used to playing with other musicians that then I'm up there by myself and it's kind of, uncomfortable, I guess. And so then, I took kind of a break from it for a long time. Like I still played occasionally, but I didn't really have like the passion for it. I wasn't playing 8 hours a day anymore. But then I kind of reconnected with it and like found, why I enjoy doing it and what makes the drive and what brings out the creativity, I guess.
And do you have like an album that people can find online, or have you recorded
my
any
family
stuff?
band, but not yet. And
really,
I'm it's in the works. Like I'm hoping.
Yeah. I guess I would say what's the hold up? Just
finishing songs.
Okay.
Very difficult, and like to feel like they're complete is like really challenging. Like, like I'll create something and like write a few verses to it, but then it's like, how do you decide when like your artistic work's done? It's really challenging. I've been trying to like go back into like old like sketch pads and stuff, because a lot of the times I always get a sketch pad and then I'm like, it's gonna be for art, it's only gonna be art. I'm not gonna write in it. I'm not gonna put my to-do list in it. And then and I do it with music, like with journals and music songwriting pads too, but then they always end up getting combined. So then I've always got to dig through a bunch of like art pages to find like a few song verses.
But how many songs do you feel like how many songs do you feel are unfinished, and how many do you feel are actually finished?
Hundreds unfinished, probably 4 or 5 finished.
See, I wonder, like, maybe your definition of finished.
Like, yeah, I'm stringent on myself.
It's almost like a perfectionist thing, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that's what it is?
Definitely.
Yeah.
But then also, like, I mean, it's your craft, right? So then I guess I have a lot of, like, drive to perfect a craft. And then that's something that it's like, it's really like you're putting your words out there. You're putting your own, like, down from the melody all the way through. And, like, there's so much emotion in it. And, like, and also, like I said, like, to stay in, like, the mood of finishing a song is difficult. And it's very much like, instantaneous, I guess, when they happen.
So do you you can feel it when they're done?
Generally,
no?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like, oh, that's it. Sometimes they won't be finished, but I'll be like, this was a good one. I've got to hold on to it. And then, like whenever I experience, I guess, the mood that I was in when I wrote it, going back to it. Because if you try, from my experience, when you try to finish a song and like force it out, it's kind of weird. Like it doesn't flow, like the lyrics won't match the melody as much. Like you don't, and it's not as personal too. So you really have to be like in it in order to like experience it and finish it.
Well, I was gonna say, isn't it? I'm sure you've written a song that's like sad.
Yeah, most of them.
But like,
they're all sad.
What if you're like having a really great Friday and you have a show? Like, is it hard to play a song that's sad when you're like,
no? It's kind of a different state.
And oh, okay.
It's like you go, or for me, I go into a different state when if I perform. Each song is its own, I guess, vibe, but it's very much like a mood thing, and like you put yourself in the song rather than, I don't know, like it encompasses you.
Interesting.
I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of strange. I find when I write my best songs, you kind of get cranky beforehand, or I do. Like I'll get kind of in like a weird kind of funk, kind of restless, and then I'll go and I'm like, man, like I need to be doing something and I don't know what it is. And then normally I'll like, gotta go play guitar, and like let out my feels. And then normally a song gets born from that.
What song did you want to play today?
Kind of a new one that I just wrote.
Nice.
I don't think naming them's difficult, but then
Miguel says that too. It's the hardest thing. He has his fans name them.
I used to have my dad name my songs. I was like, hey,
really?
Dad, what do you think this one should be called? Like, it's the last step. And it's like, I don't know what to call it. Like, if I'm going to, it's like a mood. I should just, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4,
What video games do you play?
Like a Star Wars right now. We have a Switch.
You seem like Animal Crossing. Do you play Animal Crossing?
I did for a little while, and then I was like, it felt like Minecraft where you could probably just play it forever. And I was like, okay, I'm literally building a different life in a video game right now. I should probably work on myself. But then the ones that are story mode, like Zelda, like Breath of the Wild, I get sucked into that so hard.
Is that the one you play?
You too?
You guys are like the same person.
Yeah. I know. You got a Bowser quote I got into earlier.
We went to Wes and Charlie played at Lyman, and she came, and Mary was there. I said, Mary, if Olive brings her Switch, can you show her what to do? I just think she doesn't know how to play.
I'll show you what to do. I've got me and a friend of
The issue was, she goes, well, she has this button on the side that's sticky, or it didn't. What was it?
It's broken.
It was broken.
And it's the used to do magic.
So she couldn't even do magic.
What? That's the best part.
I know.
I couldn't get the paraglider to go into the next world.
Oh, so you were stuck on the plateau.
Yeah.
Dang.
So Mary,
that's a fun game.
So Mary's like, well, we have extra, whatever the controller things were. So they gave her, and she's like, oh my God, I can play now.
Switch controllers are the only shortcoming, I think, of the Switch is they're kind of finicky. I play Zelda in the wintertime when I really want to travel. Like, I'll go to, like, Gerudo Town and be like, okay, it's desert time. Like, oh, I feel like being in, like, a cozy little rainforest, or the tropics. And it's, there's kind of, like, different, like, land demographics throughout, like, the whole map. It's a huge map.
Yeah.
So I do it instead of, like, You have, oh, I shouldn't spoil. It's fun.
I love taming horses.
Nice. There's a ghost horse that you can tame. It's like a skeleton horse. And there's another one that's like a weird spirit horse that you can tame. But like, if you see something that looks like a horse, you can tame most things. You can also ride deer. And elk and moose and bears. I don't know if I've seen any hogs in the game. Any animal you can ride them, but you have to like get your stamina up. You can ride all the animals.
One extra stamina and one extra heart.
Nice. You can also make food. I don't know if you're into that yet. It took me a long time. Yes! It took me so long that I'm like, how do I get a cook pot? I'm like, where's the cook pot? And then it's like, oh, they're all over the map. Like, it's just something you go to. It's like a fireplace, you just go and make your food.
I was like, just like sitting on my couch, just like playing Zelda, and then all of a sudden, or no, I think I was in the car with my dad. Somewhere, but like, I was next to someone, and I find out that the old man is like the Zelda's like dad or grandpa.
Oh.
And I was like,
like the old man on the plateau that gives you your... Yeah. I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No. I thought it was just like a random like old man with a stick,
No,
like
that's
here's your gift.
The paraglider.
It's been a long time. Like I started it a long time ago, and then I've just been like doing side quests and like honestly just wandering around. I just like to wander around in it.
Well, like
pick like a mini goal.
The plateau, you gotta like chase him up one of the broken buildings.
Yeah.
And then like he like shows you that he's like Zelda's dad or something. And then
okay. Have you left the plateau yet?
Yeah.
You have? Okay. Yeah, because once you leave, you can't go back, and I really wanted to go back. So like, there's a bunch of stuff that No. Yeah, I'm sorry. Because you go across like this big like pit, and then like you're stuck on the other side once you go. Not there, no. It's like the one like giant tower you can't. But the map's so big you won't even notice. There's tons of crazy stuff in it. Anyways.
Well, I know what Olive's gonna do tonight when you leave. She's gonna go play Zelda.
Where'd that come
Oh yeah, like instant dead.
It was like it was still in the plateau. I was just like searching for the lines.
There's like flying ones too. Oh yeah, you'll get there. I'm not gonna spoil it anymore. Like it's an adventure.
How am I gonna beat this boss?
You will. The boss act. Not gonna spoil it. Get out of here! No, I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm such a spoiler.
All right, Olive. She's gonna play a song. Okay. No, you stay for it. I'm just like saying, just stop talking about Zelda.
I can keep talking about Zelda.
Wait, before, can we play Minecraft together?
Do you play creative mode or do you play like the other one? Like, see, that gets overwhelming. Like, I feel like the need to, and it's all blocky. Minecraft's the one I've played Minecraft. I have a hard time like, I don't know. It's like creative time, but it's very like, there it goes. My time gets sucked away to video games pretty quickly. And then when it's like an unlimited, anything's possible, you can make a chicken world if you want. I'll play Minecraft with you though. Yay.
All right, so what's the name of this song? Or wait, you said you have trouble naming songs.
Yeah,
did you name this one?
I think this one is on the way from me to you, but
okay.
Yeah. Naming them's the hard part.
And what was the mood you were in when you wrote this?
Kind of nostalgic. Like
there
was a point when like I was pursuing like a teaching career, and there was a point when I got a job offer for a Montessori school in Seattle, and I was kind of in between like college and or my associate's degree and getting a job, and it was like that or move in with Caleb, and it's like kind of like a weird like I'm like I got a job offer, I even like job shadowed there, and then it just I don't know, it wasn't the right fit, and I was like, this is a big life decision, and I don't really know what I'm making yet, and I'm like, but I know this is gonna like deeply impact my life, and so I chose not to.
upon a desert storm. Your love kept me safe and warm. Now here I stand, lost from day to day. Reminisce on days long gone, leaves me guessing way too long why these city lights don't twinkle much for me. Bored of conversations, I'm too down to read the news. To think another day has passed with me still missing you. Oh, to just have you nearby, dry all these tears I've cried, but my pride sits on the way from me to you. Wish there was another way to tell you things I never say, but I can't speak the words I shouldn't feel. Maybe in a simpler time you would have held your hand in mine and whispered all the words that lovers do. Bored of conversations, I'm too down to read the news. To think another day has passed with me still missing you. But oh, to just have you nearby would dry all these tears I've cried, but my pride sits on the way from me to you. Oh, to just have you nearby would dry all these tears I've cried, but my pride sits on the way from me to you.
Have you
Yeah.
recorded with anybody else besides your dad?
No, I haven't.
Might be kind of fun to.
I think so too.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I wonder if a different recording atmosphere, a different person recording, like would just be like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm
A
curious
lot
how
of
that
it
would
too
be
is
for
just
you.
technology overwhelms the heck out of me.
Oh,
Like,
really?
Minecraft overwhelms me. Yeah, like I like acoustic instruments because I don't have to worry about like all the plugins and the little buttons and I've been recording a little more, like I've been recording stuff on my phone, but it doesn't really have like the
Yeah.
I've got like multiple mics and it's kind of a hassle. Like,
Yeah.
I like condenser mics a lot, but then I guess like the process for recording like especially acoustic music, like I guess what I was used to is you sing and you play your music or you play a song as a band and then you piece it out and you play every individual instrument, every singing part like, independently, and then you get those recordings separate. So it's like you play the same part so many times
Yeah.
that I think I get impatient with it. But I'm really interested in it.
So I'm just saying, like, it doesn't have to be like this huge, like, kind of
That's
production
true.
thing. And but like you were saying, like technology, I think that, sometimes technology can make it confusing, but in some aspects it makes it a lot easier,
Yeah.
so
I'm fortunate to be, with a sound guy.
yeah, exactly.
He's very good with tech.
Tell him to put his switch down and record you.
Yeah.
No, that was such a great song. And
Thank you.
I feel bad because I don't remember your songs specifically from the theater, but I just remember thinking you were great. Do you have any shows coming up?
Not currently. No.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm open to it though. Normally I get like invited and then I'll do them.
So, because you were just saying your friend in Seattle would call you up and say, "Do you want to come play?"
Yeah.
So you don't
Normally that's how I do. Like, same with like Miguel calling me up. Like it's the same thing.
That's so funny. So you don't seek out shows, like the
Generally
shows
not.
seek out you.
Yeah.
That's
Like
so funny.
I'll do it.
I love it. You're really talented. Like,
Thank you.
it's just funny. You're just sitting there like, I hope someone calls, but you're not even like, I hope someone calls me for a show. You're just doing your own thing.
cool.
You're like making a pot, and then you're like, oh, what? You need to, sure. Like, let
I
me
have
just
way
finish
too
this.
many hobbies. Like
Let
I've
me
got a
finish this
ton.
vase.
Yeah. Actually, though,
I
like
love
my
it.
music space is the same as my art space, and then I
Yeah.
don't know. It's kind of neat.
Have you been to Sock Mountain Pottery?
No, but my mom's friends with them.
Really?
So my mom, like when she first
Nicola
moved to
and
Washington,
Steve?
yeah.
They're episode 14 of my
And
podcast.
I really want to go, but I'm kind of intimidated because I haven't seen them since I was like toddler.
That's awesome.
They're on your podcast?
Yeah, they're episode 14.
Wow.
Yeah. I think you're the first person I've met from Darrington.
Really?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Huh.
But I've heard a lot about it. And like I said,
it's nice. You should come visit.
I feel like I'm related
Come to the Holler is the mix of both. Like Josh and Gretchen are like the glue of like a lot of different communities. And so then they bring a lot of people together.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think like that whole Holler, like I've heard so much about it. Doing something
you
like...
You would find so many people to interview on your podcast.
I know.
And everything there, yeah. Pierre's beautiful too, but
yeah,
I just like exploring, and I don't really... My mom lived on Martin Road when she first moved to Washington.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So then I kind of had like that overlap, and then kind of my like adopted kind of aunt and uncle lived at Rockport.
Oh, yeah.
So we'd come back and forth a lot.
Yeah. Well, it's funny too, because people will say, oh, I've been to Concrete. I'm like, have you been to Main Street? Then you haven't been to Concrete.
No, yeah.
No. Like, if you haven't been to the theater or the Hub, then you don't know what Concrete is. And then also, like, I mentioned the airport, because I go, there's a radio station in Concrete? Where is it? It's right by the airport. There's an airport in Concrete? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, my uncle flew out of there when
really?
I was really young, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think he might still. I don't really know.
Yeah.
But...
Well, start thinking of your 10 songs. So it's every Tuesday from 6 to 8.
I've got 10 songs.
Yeah? You're already?
Yeah, straight up.
I love it.
No, I like constantly listen to music. Like I make
awesome.
playlists. I don't know, probably when I was younger it was like my dream job to be on a radio or like do a radio.
Well, there you go.
But I make like, like thousands of song podcast or playlists. Not podcasts.
Wow. That's awesome. Yeah.
I've got one that's like more than 24 hours of music.
Really?
I think it's like 2 days now.
What's like, I mean, are they all a certain mood or genre? All the songs?
I make my playlist 2 moods. So it's like if I'm in a certain
what's the mood of the 24-hour playlist?
It's fun drive. I want to be able to drive across the country and not have to change the station and also not have to listen to any ads.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so it's like, it's pretty broad. So it's like, you can like flip through and it's like a mix of everything.
Yeah.
Got one that's Kickback Cadillac, and that's like my like after work. I'm like vibing when I'm on my way home, like mellowing out after work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but like whenever I get sent a song, I look it up and then I hit pause and I read the lyrics first.
Oh, I don't do that. Sometimes I look at songs that people send me and sometimes I don't. I feel kind of guilty. But then sometimes I'll go back to it later and be like, okay, I feel guilty for not listening to their song. And like I've been sending them a bunch of songs. And
I always say, don't send me another one until I give you feedback on the other one. Because like I don't want them to pile up because I don't want to, have that pressure.
I dump songs on people. I'm like, here's 1,000 song playlist.
Well, if you give me a playlist, that's fine. But like individual songs, I'm like,
I'll
I
do
can't.
An individual song.
Yeah.
I'll try not to though. That's
just
a good warning.
make sure I like give you feedback so I know I listen to it because I want to respect because you're gonna send a song that's important to you or you thought like okay Liz will like this yeah. Gosh, we could have talked about music the whole time. Oh yeah. Well, it's been 2 hours.
Oh my goodness.
I told Wes, I go, I'll be done by 8:30 and I'll come to Barley and Brews and I knew that this would happen. No, don't. Oh my gosh. Don't feel bad at all. No, you're all good. No, this was awesome.
The Shins, though, that's like, I don't know, when you, I think, like, because after the theater,
yeah,
you came, and I think you were bartending that
night,
probably.
I was,
but like, it struck me because that was a song that like really resonated with me.
Yeah.
And then like you were like recognized it was like somebody knows like my weird indie taste in music. Like, thank you.
Well, and that movie, like that came out.
It's a great movie.
I think I might have came back from Korea the first time when I saw it, or maybe I was just about to go. Like it was.
Whoa!
Definitely.
Did you learn the song from the movie?
Oh yeah, I didn't know who the Shins were at all.
Oh.
Yeah, and so.
I discovered them kind of by accident. Like I used to when I was really young. Like I didn't go on the computer a lot and like to discover music, but then we go to the library all the time, and so I would just randomly because you could only rent 10 CDs at a time.
Oh yeah.
I would reserve just a random 10 CDs.
Oh, cool.
And like sometimes it was like the Christmas album where it's like cats meow 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 meow, like it was a big mixed bag. But then that was one of the albums.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, this is my flyer for my show. Yeah, I know. Tim
that
Meckling.
Reminds me like earlier. The sunset was gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
Like the sun was.
So this song will change your life with Liz Rankin, host of this gadget, and then
So that art was done for your podcast then.
Yeah.
For your
when I first for my radio show. That's the song on it.
Yeah.
If people want to hear you, they don't go on your Facebook and find an event. They have to call you and you will come play at their bar or their house
open.
or like.
I finally have a job where I have weekends off, so that was like a
okay.
big hesitation. Was I was working Fridays and Saturdays at the brewery for like the last 3 to 4 years.
Oh, how long have you worked at the county?
About 8 months.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay,
Yeah. I
cool.
just got my degree last year, and then started applying for like my big girl jobs. And
Yeah.
finally, yeah.
I'm an adult now.
Yeah. And I've got weekends off, which like when I worked at the school district, like I had weekends off, so I played more then. So like I was going to Seattle a lot to play.
Yeah.
And just like a lot of taverns. Played Seattle a lot.
So basically, if there's a musician listening and they would like you to open for them, you're up for that.
Happy to.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
It's a lot of fun.
And she'll bring a sound guy.
Yeah.
He's in with the deal too.
Yeah. Normally my own mic sometimes. Tell me beforehand though. But
That's awesome. And also there's a bluegrass band.
yeah.
If they
Blueberry
need
Hill.
it, yeah.
It's all over
Blueberry
YouTube.
Hill.
Not all over, but we got a lot of
Really?
stuff on YouTube.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I'll link that for sure. And if you, whatever you're feeling and you need a playlist, just let Ada know and she'll send you a playlist.
Oh, yeah.
If you're like,
my
I
Spotify
need...
is lit up. I've got like over 100 playlists on Spotify, and they're all big. Like I delete the 1 or 2 song ones.
That's so funny. Do they give? They probably don't give you a limit.
I don't. Not that I've found.
You would have found it if there was a limit.
Probably.
Yeah.
Like haven't hit a wall yet. I've got a lot of them. I've got ones that are just like random pun playlists, like every song that I can think of that's about water or like.
I thought about that for my
songs.
radio show. I thought
Really?
about because
I've got a list.
I joke with because Miguel likes cats. I was
Yeah.
joking with Olive. I said I should do an episode with just cat songs.
Ooh.
But all I could think
You
of
could have
was
a Cool Cats playlist.
okay.
I'd name it Cool Cats.
Well, all I thought of was Smelly Cats, the Friends song that Phoebe plays.
Oh, let me think. Phoebe Bridges?
No,
Or-
Phoebe on Friends.
Oh.
She sings a song called Smelly Cats. That's all I
Oh.
thought of. But then also,
What about
there's a song.
Sheldon from what is it?
Oh, does he play a cat song?
There's like the soft kitty one.
Oh yeah, there's a song
It's not
called
a
"A
song.
Plea from a Cat Named Virtue," and it's from the point of view of a cat, and it's a really good song by the Weaker Thans from Canada.
Whoa.
And he basically is very disappointed in his owner,
Oh.
and he's like, stop drinking and watching TV and play with me, and it's a really
Oh.
sweet song. But that's the only song I know about
Miguel
a cat.
plays a song called Cross-Eyed Cat.
Oh, he
It's a
could
cat
play one of
song.
his songs, yeah.
Let me think what else.
But no, I like that. I thought about
I
that.
can see him.
Doing like a theme, like I'm gonna do all songs that have like people's names in them,
Oh.
like Jim or Julie or whatever. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure like there's a ton out there,
Cool.
and then people could request and
I have some more
yeah.
samplings. So like for like electronic music, a lot of the time they'll take like old songs and they'll sample it in
Oh, yeah.
to a newer song and then
Yeah.
like remix it basically.
yeah.
So I have like whole playlists that are dedicated to specific sampled songs from like way back. And then like the original and then all of the music that's subsequently like happened from it.
Yeah.
So
Oh, you really like music.
Oh,
That's awesome.
yeah.
I know when I meet people who don't have Spotify, I'm like, yeah, like you, like I'm like, what do you do?
Well, I used to probably shouldn't say this on a podcast. I used to go on YouTube to mp3.com.
Yeah, me too.
Good old
Yeah.
fashioned.
Yeah, those are the days. Do you have any cassettes?
I used to have a big box, but I don't think I have a cassette player anymore.
Well, you're gonna have one soon because Cascade Cody is putting on a cassette
What?
for his new EP.
That's awesome.
It also comes with a digital download card, but
Heck yeah.
he just announced on the radio this morning. He was at 104 in Bellingham.
Does he provide his own pencil to like rewind and fast forward?
Oh my god,
He needs his own Cascade Cody pencils. The faceted ones, not the round ones.
That would be so funny. Oh my god, the fact that he's even doing cassettes is hilarious.
Yeah.
So D. Esser, who's in Bellingham, he put out a new vinyl, amazing, and he does it through Washington's Records.
Yeah.
And Cody just signed with them to do a cassette for his new EP.
Oh,
I mean, the
that's
fact that
really
they're
cool.
putting digital with it, obviously the cassettes, like the marketing thing, right? But the pencils, those are good.
even
I
like the
that.
little shorties, you know, like the little
Like
ones.
golf pencils?
Hey man.
Oh, I love it. You're a marketing genius. I love it. That's great. All right. Cool. All right. So people can find you online and they can ask you to play with them.
Yep.
And I'm sure you'll be selling your pottery somewhere soon. And if they
Yeah.
need a playlist, they can reach out to you. And
Pottery's more of a practice of patience. It's just like
yeah. Well, you probably have music on while you're doing pottery.
normally, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it depends on what you're listening to.
Yep.
Like maybe it's like an angry pot or like a
Kind of. They're kind of
Kinda?
weird. It's like ceramics is really weird because it's like I do wheel throwing mostly. I don't do a lot of hand built, but
Yeah.
then when you wheel throw, you have to be like completely grounded and centered in order to make your pot completely grounded and centered. And I find like if you're in a distracted mood, it'll get popped right off the wheel, and then you do it again, and it pops off the wheel, and then you do it again, and you get frustrated, and you're like, I can't do it, and then you put it back on the wheel, and you're like, okay, it's not going to happen if you're not like grounded and centered, and then you can center it. But
okay, we're going to end on this because you have to go to Sock Mountain Pottery
I agree.
this weekend and go reconnect with Steve and Nicola.
Yeah.
Yeah.